ready. The food's ready.
It's time to cook the book.
Let's ride. Let's ride. Broncos country. Let's ride. Broncos country. Let's ride into episode 4 of Cook the Book. Welcome everybody to not my usual kitchen. I am in my hometown of Sandwich, Illinois at my parents' house. So we are gonna get some good old home cooking done this week for week 4 Monday Night Football, Bengals versus the Broncos. Now, last week, we would have had a parlay punishment, but I hit my first same game parlay from Cook the Book in week 3, Lions-Ravens. So let's hope that we're cashed into the bank this week as well. Like I said, this week's game is between the Bengals and the Broncos. So we've got to do something authentic to Denver. But I also wanted to do something that's a little authentic to me because we are here in my hometown of Sandwich, Illinois. Yes, just like a good old sandwich that you eat. And one more thing that I should add, nobody's played on that. We have no sandwich delis or anything like that. Somebody needs to do it, but they haven't. But with that, we are gonna be making an authentic Denver omelet, but we're gonna do it with a little bit of a twist. We are gonna make it a Denver omelet sandwich because I'm here in Sandwich, Illinois. So we've got the best of Denver. We're gonna have the best of Sandwich, Illinois. I mean, the culinary capital of the world, better than Cincinnati and Denver combined. I'm just kidding, but we are gonna make the best Denver omelet sandwich that we can possibly make while cooking up our same game parlay for Monday Night Football. And stay tuned because I've got a special guest or guests that may be coming in and giving us some cameos to help us make this Denver omelet sandwich. Let's get to it. This week's episode, we are making a Denver omelet sandwich. So let's go over our ingredients that we first need. Of course, you're going to need some large eggs. I'm gonna use 4 eggs within my omelet, so we're gonna make it pretty big to put on our sandwich. So I've got 4 large eggs here. For our vegetables, these are what is authentic to a Denver omelet. You're gonna need peppers. Unfortunately, the store had no green peppers, so we've got red and yellow. We're gonna spice it up with some red and yellow peppers. And then we've got a good old onion, one of my faves. So peppers, onions, and last but not least, we are gonna use some good old pieces of ham that are gonna be going inside of the Denver omelet. So the 3 things that you really need to make it authentic to Denver are going to be peppers, onions, and ham. Now, other things that you're going to need for this, you're gonna want some cheese probably to go with your omelet. Butter, this is gonna be used for the baking portion. Salt and pepper, of course, for some seasoning. And then you need green chili if you are going to be making a Denver omelet. So you will smother your Denver omelet in green chili. So I've got some green chili right here that we will be using. Last but not least, you are going to get some Texas toast that I've already got made here, ready to go, to put your Denver omelet on. And that is that. But don't forget, I always pair it with a drink authentic to the city. So we're gonna be drinking something to go with our omelet that's from Denver. First thing you're gonna do for your Denver omelet is crack the eggs. Like I said, I'm doing 4 for this Denver omelet to make it large for our sandwich. Now, because I'm in Sandwich, Illinois, let me tell you guys a little bit about where I'm from. Sandwich, Illinois is a very small town outside of Chicago. People will ask me if I'm from a suburb, and I'm like, no, we are not from a suburb. I am from the farmland, that is for sure. My subdivision is right next to a cornfield. That's where I grew up, and what we're actually known for here in Sandwich is the Sandwich Fair. So Sandwich, Illinois is known for the Sandwich Fair. The Sandwich Fair is actually one of the largest fairs that exists in Illinois, and it's been around since, I wanna say, the 1800s. So that's what we're most known for. It's your typical carnival or fair, as you would say. It's got the rides. You can see really interesting things, I guess. A lot of like farmers go and show their pigs, horses, cattle, all that kind of fun stuff. So that's what we're known for. Once you have your eggs nice and stirred up, For whatever you want to put in, we're just going to guesstimate like I always do. We're going to do some salt, and then we are also going to do some pepper to put in. Mix those together, and now you're going to put in one last ingredient I forgot to say in the ingredients list. Milk, because that was in the fridge. You're going to do 2 tablespoons of milk mixed in with your eggs. So if anyone's ever been to the sandwich fair, you gotta let me know. We actually got off school for it back in the day. That's how big a deal it is in sandwich. Once you have your milk added in with your salt, pepper, and your eggs, you are going to stir this up, and that is the first, I guess, set of steps to get ready for your Denver omelet. Since we have that complete, let's go over our first leg of the same game parlay in the Monday Night Football game, Bengals Broncos. And this game would have been highly anticipated if Joe Burrow wasn't hurt, but because it's not, now the Denver Broncos are huge favorites. And I must say, Denver Broncos, Broncos country, I am riding with you guys this week because this parlay is Denver Broncos heavy and the game script is in favor of you guys. So to start, leg 1 of our parlay is Broncos Moneyline. Leg 1 of the same game parlay is money line. And yes, I know it's a little bit juicy, but that is okay because this is a parlay. It's going to help build those odds up for it. The Broncos, 2-1 going into this game, and they should be an easy 3-1 after this one is done. They already have the home field advantage. They're over a touchdown point favorite in this game, and they've got a lot going for them. Not only has the offense been clicking with Bo Nix, Courtland Sutton, J.K. Dobbins, although Bo Nix is very prone to turnovers, they're still getting the points up on the board. And the biggest thing that I think people are overlooking when it comes to Denver right now is the pass rush and this defense. They're holding teams to just 22 points a game right now. That's about middle of the pack in the NFL. But where they're really succeeding is sacks and the pass rush. They have the most in the entire NFL. Therefore, I easily think that the Denver Broncos are going to win this game against the Joe Burrow-less Cincinnati Bengals. We now have a special guest in the kitchen for Cook the Book, and it is my mom. This is my mom, Kimberly, and she's going to be here. She's going to help us whip up a little bit of this Denver Omelette Sandwich here and chat some sports with us, although I will say, you're a sports lover. But not a sports fanatic.
But I'm not good on stats and all that.
But she does love sports. So I'm like, Mom, well, while she gets going with this, what she's going to be doing right now is cutting up our peppers and our onion. And I'm going to be preparing the stove using about a tablespoon of butter right now to get our pan ready to go to put in and saute these vegetables and ham. So we'll get doing that. All right, while I prepare the stove over here, I'm doing just a teaspoon of butter to get the pan prepared. My mom's cutting up the vegetables. We've got peppers, and we're gonna do a little bit of onion to dice in there as well. Of course, the Denver staples. I'm like, Mom, why don't you give us a little rundown of what some of your favorite meals to make for Kylie and I, which is my sister, were here in this kitchen growing up.
Well, of course, they always make fun of me because they would come home and one of the biggest things, and what are we having tonight? And I'd be like, stir fry. And they're like, again.
We were big healthy eaters, that is for sure.
But stir fry was one of our go-tos. But also, back in the day, I was a full-time kindergarten teacher of 34 years. And so my husband and I, Dave, we both worked full-time. So when we would get home at night, he worked at a car dealership in finance, so he wouldn't get home till really late, of course, because that's the last person they see is finance. And so oftentimes I would be on dinner duty with the girls. It'd be the 3 of us, so we'd always have breakfast for dinner, and they'd get so excited.
We did love breakfast for dinner
or pancakes, except for that was Dave's specialty. He was the big one on pancakes.
He was good on the griddle, and a lot of times we did chocolate chip pancakes. Were definitely a must in the house.
Very much so.
Okay, I have another good question for you. What do you think one of our traditions is as a family when it comes to cooking in the kitchen? What's something that we always do?
We always have music on and we're always dancing.
Yes.
Always.
We always dance in the kitchen. I actually might have to throw in a little throwback video here. I'll show you guys. We'll
Yeah.
overlay it. And we're always, what's one of our go-tos? Pink Pony Club. I'm gonna keep on dancing at the Pink Pony Club. Pink Pony Club. That was cute.
One of the best.
That was cute. But I would say one of our traditions definitely is dancing with the kitchen. At all holidays, this is extended family as well. Everybody ends up in the kitchen by the end of the meal, and we dance for at least an hour. And it's so fun.
And not only is it fun, but it burns off those calories.
It burns off the holiday chaos. It sure does.
Watching you chop.
Now that we've got all the vegetables chopped, we are going to move them over to the stove. So let's get Now that our veggies are chopped, it is time to put our veggies and the ham into the pan and saute them on low for a little bit. So Mom, I'll let you do the honors of putting in the ham. Just throw it right on
here we
in
go
there.
with our ham.
Nice. And then we are going to put on our veggies.
Woo. And here we go with our veggies.
Okay, so I was like, before I send you off on your way out of the kitchen where we're cooking, I was thinking that maybe you could tell the audience a little bit of maybe like an embarrassing or funny story about me that people would find interesting.
Oh boy.
I'm
One.
nervous 'cause I don't know what it is
Okay,
either.
this is like when Taylor was not able to drive. She was probably like 12. Her and her friends wanted to get together and on a snowy day take our white Bronco out to McDonald's to get lunch. And she of course was like, no, I'm not gonna do it. But
I was a goody two shoes, by the way.
she
too.
was. She was like, I'm not
Never
doing
did
that. I'm not
anything.
doing it. But oh no, her very good friend and my youngest daughter Kylie are like, we'll do it.
None of us had our license.
No. So they get in the Bronco and they drive to McDonald's. They get food. They bring it back.
I was not in the car though.
No,
but
she
I
was
did
not.
want food.
She did. Everybody wanted food, so they were okay with who was going to get the food. They go get the food, come back. I get home later in that evening, and I am listening to the news, and unfortunately, I found out that was the same day that the school shooting happened in Northern Illinois University,
Yeah.
which is so sad. And my dad happens to call me and said, yeah, I saw
Talk
the kids
about
at
that.
McDonald's. Yeah, he's asking me, he's like, oh my gosh, did you
Papa.
see that? He goes, did you know that the kids went to McDonald's? I go, what are you talking about? And he goes, yeah, it was a half day of school. They went to McDonald's and got lunch. And I go, what? And then
She
I'm
gets
like,
off the phone
I
with
gotta
him.
go. I get off the phone and I go, girls? And all of a sudden, here comes Taylor. We did it! We did it! We drove the Bronco! We got food at McDonald's!
I did not drive, but yes, I was such a baby, and I am a terrible liar too. So I just immediately admitted it. I think my little sister wanted to kill me because she was like, I was the one that went with in the car.
Yeah, she would.
She would have just let it keep going. Not me though.
Yeah, no.
I was like, no. I immediately told the truth, and we got grounded for weeks
Yeah.
for taking the Bronco. I will say you are right. We were not even close to getting our license, but yeah.
No, they were like 12 and 13.
That's, I guess just what happened there in good old Sandwich, Illinois. The worst we did was take the car and go get McDonald's. Better, McDonald's though, Denver Omelette's gonna win over the McDonald's, hopefully. Now that my mom is headed out of the kitchen, we are going to saute our veggies and ham, and I'm gonna give you guys leg 2 of the same game parlay in Monday Night Football, Bengals Broncos. We are going with Denver's running back, J.K. Dobbins, to go over 59.5 rushing yards. Why are we taking this play, you ask? Well, he's hit this over in every single game so far this season. He's got 222 rushing yards and averaging over 5 yards a carry right now. The Denver Broncos are primarily leaning on him in that backfield because they don't have anybody else to go with in the run. The Cincinnati Bengals, under new management there on their defensive side with defensive coordinator Al Golden, they have not been very good at stopping the rush. They're bottom 10 in rushing yards per attempt as well as rushing attempts total. So give me J.K. Dobbins to have a big game here, running the ball out to go over 59.5 rushing yards. Mixture into the pan. So let's get to it. We are going to pour this right in there like so. Once you get the egg mixture in, you're gonna let that sit for about 1 minute to 2 minutes so that it gets nice and settled up, and you'll be able to flip over your omelet. once you've let your omelet cook for about a minute to 2 minutes and you're starting to see it's hardening up around the edges, you're going to put in as much cheese as you desire. And I'm making mine pretty cheesy. Here comes the most difficult part. We have to try to flip over our eggs to make the omelet. I'm really hoping I don't screw this up, but fingers crossed we get it on the first try. This is the tried and true kitchen mitt that I think my mom has used my entire childhood. As you can see, it's nice and smoked up here, burnt up here, but we're gonna be using it to grab our pan off the stove. Let me show you guys how good I did actually at flipping the omelet. Not bad. I feel like not that bad for my first try here, flipping this Denver omelet. And also it's a big one, it's a huge one. Now that our cooking is complete of the omelet, we have to put on what makes it the most authentic to Denver, which is green chili sauce. Now, I don't know if this is gonna be spicy. I don't really know what to expect. I've never had green chili sauce, but I'm excited to try it because I feel like it's really gonna bring the entire dish together. We wanna make sure we smother it in this. That is what I've heard from Denver natives, is that you gotta smother it with this green chili sauce. Let's pour on all of our green chili, okay, smother this omelet up. Woo! That's covered, if I do say so myself. For the sake of this video and for myself, I'm gonna actually cut the Denver omelet into smaller portions so that it actually fits on our sandwich for the sandwich element of the show. So I'm cutting this Denver omelet to make it a little bit smaller, but don't worry, it is still smothered. Now that I've got my Denver omelet sandwich ready to go here in Sandwich, Illinois, with a little side of hash browns, let's get to our final leg of the same game parlay. Now that we've got our Denver omelet sandwich complete with the side here of hash browns here in Sandwich, Illinois, it's time to get to the final leg of our same game parlay in Bengals Broncos. We are going to be going with Denver's wide receiver, Courtland Sutton, to get an anytime touchdown. Courtland Sutton, 185 yards, 2 trips to the end zone in just 3 weeks of the NFL. The man just signed a 4-year extension for $92 million in the offseason. That means Denver is committed to this guy. He's Bo Nix's favorite target, despite the fact that Nix has some trouble here with turnovers. Courtland Sutton is going to get that volume and going to get the looks when they are within the red zone. And I'm expecting that a lot this week when we don't have Joe Burrow playing for the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm expecting a points-heavy Broncos team to get that offense moving and get the job done. So give me Courtland Sutton for an anytime touchdown as the final leg of our parlay. Our same game parlay for Bengals Broncos is coming out to plus 363. Now remember, that is what I am getting it at right now as of recording this video. All odds, lines, injuries, everything is subject to change. I'm just telling you guys what I got the same game parlay at time of recording this. Now that we've got the same game parlay complete and our Denver omelet sandwich is ready to go, I think we're missing just one more thing in order to get a little taste test of this sandwich. Well, maybe 2 things.
Anybody need a drink in here?
My mom is going to taste test our sandwiches with me today. So let's cheers to our Denver omelet sandwich. And of course, we're going with a good old Coors Banquet because you have to when you're making something authentic to Denver. Cheers. All right. We gotta take a sip though first. All right. Hold on.
Not
I
bad.
love Coors.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I'm
a Coors Light girl too, but
this is good.
this is the banquet of beers. That's
Yeah.
what they say. Honestly,
Not bad.
I would drink this.
And I love the brown bottles.
I would drink
These
this.
are cute.
They
Cute
are.
bottles.
National Cute Coors Banquet. You're doing it right. All right, let's try the sandwich. Here we go.
Okay.
Now we're a little
I'm
nervous.
a little nervous.
Neither of us are big, like, hefty meal people.
No.
I feel like this is a pretty hefty sandwich. Cheers our
Here's
sandwich.
our sandwich.
Here we go.
Okay.
Get a bigger bite in there on that.
I'm trying. breakfast for dinner in the house.
Thanks for tuning in to episode 4 of Cook the Book this week. We cooked up a same game parlay and a delicious Denver Omelette Sandwich. And thanks to my mom here for being in the kitchen, telling
Thanks
everybody,
for having me, everybody.
a little bit about what we did as a family in our kitchen and making some good food.
Thanks
So
for having me.
cheers to that.
Woo! Yeehaw, Broncos! Broncos country. Let's ride!
Before we get going, let's go over our same game parlay one last time for Monday Night Football, Bengals Broncos. We're starting out with Broncos country, Moneyline, baby. After that, leg number 2, J.K. Dobbins, running back of the Denver Broncos, to go over 59.5 rushing yards. And last but not least, wide receiver of the Broncos, Courtland Sutton, to record an anytime touchdown. Comes out to plus 363. Thanks for tuning in to episode 4 of Cook the Book, guys. Remember, if this parlay does not hit, I've got a parlay punishment, and here's what you guys are going to choose from this week as my punishment. Remember, guys, if this parlay does not hit, we've got a parlay punishment for me to do. This week, we're doing a touchdown dance because I hit the parlay, but if I don't hit this one this week, this is the choices that you guys have. Comment below what you'd like to see me do. Choice number 1 is going to be cracking a raw egg into a glass and chugging it down. Or choice number 2 is having my parents, since today was a family affair, pull out one of the most embarrassing pictures that they have of me, and I have to show it to you guys on camera next week. So comment below which you'd like to see me do for the parlay punishment. Thanks for tuning in to episode 4 of Cook the Book, guys. I will see you next time.
Honey, the food's ready.
It's time to cook the book.